Hi, Sudhin.
Hello.
She is an associate professor of neuroscience and will be telling you today about cognitive signals incorporated, so sounding the mind and making cognition visible. So, Sudhin, why don't you take it away?
Good afternoon. Thank you to CTL for the opportunity to present today. It's my honor to present on behalf of the team at Cognitive Signals. All around the world, every single day, someone asks, is my loved one still there? Can they hear me? Do they understand? Too often, these questions go unanswered. In the US alone, every year, 50% of patients admitted to critical care, which makes up 2.5 million patients, require cognitive assessment. Today, cognition is assessed almost entirely through bedside behavioral exams. Blink if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Where are you? What is this? These tests fail precisely when they matter most. Sorry. Can you still see my screen?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. These tests fail precisely when they matter most. For the majority, 60%, those with no discernible behavior, cognition cannot be assessed at all. When behavior is absent, cognition becomes invisible. Among the patients with minimal response, behavioral exams remain unreliable. Studies have shown misdiagnosis rates as high as 40%. Here it translates to 16% of the overall sample. More worryingly, research shows that among the patients who cannot be assessed, there are at least 25% who have covert high-level cognition. Here, this represents 15% of the overall sample. These patients are awake and aware, but invisible to current tools. At Cognitive Signals, we are building a bedside diagnostic platform for objective assessment of cognition. Instead of relying on behavior, we directly measure the brain's response while a patient listens to natural spoken language. We use large language models to guide brain signal analyses, allowing us to derive objective neural signatures of hearing and understanding. Even when a patient cannot speak, move, or follow commands, we can answer the questions, did they hear me? Did they understand me? By using our first-in-class diagnostic at the bedside, we allow for diagnosis where current tools fail and reduce misdiagnosis. We inform prognosis earlier and accurately to guide the right treatment at the right time. Better clinical decision-making leads directly to more efficient use of hospital resources, ensuring that care is delivered to patients when they need it. There are many tools that measure brain function. We think about them along two dimensions. The horizontal axis is specificity, from global indicators of brain health to measures of specific cognitive functions. The vertical axis is dynamic range, from coarse binary outputs to graded measures that can detect meaningful change. On the right of the specificity axis are tools that probe specific functions such as attention or memory. Tools higher on the dynamic range axis produce graded quantitative outputs that can track recovery, decline, and treatment effects over time. The top right is where the measurement becomes clinically actionable, specific, rich, and meaningful for real decisions. That's where Cognitive Signal sits. In critical care, however, the most important constraint is the patient's inability to respond. When we focus only on tools that work without any behavior, most technologies fall away. This is what is left. And if we dig further into those that have regulatory clearance, this is what we are left with. There are no FDA-cleared devices to assess cognition in critical care patients. This unmet need translates into a substantial market opportunity. The approximately 50% of patients who require cognitive assessment represent a total addressable market of approximately $3 billion per year. Patients who cannot be assessed using current tools represent an underserved segment, accounting for an estimated $2 billion serviceable market. With modest clinical adoption, this supports share of market opportunity on the order of $300 million annually. Language stimuli are unlimited and can be tailored to age, interest, comprehension, and made available in native language. Because of this, we can assess cognition across the lifespan in numerous situations. This, of course, means that we have multiple markets. Everything I have said so far is encapsulated in point 1 here, for which we have proof of concept data. But we also envisage other markets. In neurodegenerative diseases where language impairments are a well-known issue and often the first thing that's noted clinically, we have an opportunity to detect early dysfunction in receptive language processing and track response to treatment. In neurodevelopmental disorders, we can provide insight into how much is being processed, even when expressive language is limited. Beyond clinical settings, we can conduct objective assessments of learning, allowing for bespoke assessments tailored to individuals. But moving beyond assessment of language alone, because our measure reflects integrated brain function, drawing on attention, memory, and related processes, we have a sensitive marker of overall cognitive health. This means our platform can monitor recovery after anesthesia and track improvement or decline, positioning us, Cognitive Signals, as a scalable cognitive assessment platform. Because we are designed for multiple use cases, our platform is intentionally hardware agnostic, integrating with the existing and rapidly expanding ecosystem of EEG hardware in clinical and community use. We support recurring software subscriptions licensed onto existing EEG systems, OEM partnerships embedding our software into hardware platforms, and turnkey software plus hardware solutions where needed, enabling efficient scaling. Our commercialization strategy is reimbursement aligned. We plan to pursue breakthrough device designation to support expedited adoption and potential NTAP eligibility in critical care. We plan to track utilization through Category 3 CPT codes to characterize use and build evidence, followed by a pathway to Category 1 CPT codes for durable physician payment. Our roadmap integrates clinical validation with software development, OEM partnerships, and regulatory and reimbursement progress, beginning with single center studies in the ICU, anesthesia, and neurodegenerative populations. Our funding strategy is staged to support the translation of this platform from early clinical feasibility to multi-site validation. We received seedling support from Blueprint MedTech in late 2025, which has enabled us to refine the platform and align development with regulatory and reimbursement considerations. This year, we are hoping to secure funding to support single-site clinical trials. This year, we are also hoping to convert our seedling award to a larger Blueprint MedTech award to accelerate software and device development. And looking ahead, we anticipate competing for funds to support multi-site clinical trials. Cognitive Signals was founded by a multidisciplinary team spanning neuroscience, engineering, and clinical medicine with deep expertise in language processing, brain injury, signal analyses, and translational neurotechnology. We are supported by a strong commercialization ecosystem. This includes expertise in marketplace awareness, regulatory strategy, quality management systems, and reimbursement strategy, ensuring our development is aligned with real-world clinical and payer expectations. So our ask today to the investors on the call is what they would advise, what constitutes investment-ready validation in this space. And with that, thank you for paying attention, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Sudhin. Always great to ask for advice instead of money, right? Does anyone have some advice for Sudhin?
I'm curious how the OEM discussions have gone. I can put my video on. That's obviously going to be a key milestone for many investors. So how have those conversations been going?
They're going very well. We've identified a potential partner who meets the criteria that we have to deal with in the critical care settings. We need a hardware system that's easy to don, one that's already been used in the critical care settings, and they are very interested in partnering with us, both to offer our software through their existing hardware solutions, so to their customers, but also by allowing us to white label their device so we could sell it as a turnkey system.
Got it.
We're hoping to finalize that in the first quarter of this year.
And what do they need to see to sign like an LOI, do you think?
They are very interested in the generalizability, the scale of what we can offer, because they are not building software themselves; they're building hardware.
Okay.
So no, I don't. I think we're very close to signing an LOI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And any have they talked about how they would pitch your software to their customers at all?
Yes, they are already offering softwares for other purposes. I don't want to go into details because I can't share it yet.
Sure.
Which has been very helpful to sell their hardware, especially in this space for which they created the hardware. And so they see us as a huge plus in order to say, instead of just being able to do one thing, here's a more broader scale. And also this opens up their market space to beyond critical care, as I described, where there are many other use cases for where we can use our device.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexander Brown has a question.
Yes. So my apologies if I missed what's in your pitch, but how does the solution work to be able to assess cognitive response? And to answer your question about ready for investment, any sort of preliminary data that you might have on the effectiveness of it would certainly help to strengthen the case there.
Right. So the first to answer your first question, if I had our device on your head as you were listening to this talk, I could tell you if you heard or understood me without you having to tell me that you heard and understood me. Does that make sense? Because I would be measuring your brain's response at the same time that you're listening to my speech.
Got it. It's like a headset that measures electrical activity in different parts of the brain and
exactly.
That
and relates it to the speech that you heard, or the story in this case. To answer your second question, we have compelling proof of concept data that we can use our technology in patients who are not responsive. That's published. There we've validated it by showing that we get responses to hearing and understanding speech compared to state-of-the-art in research settings, which is to ask somebody to mentally imagine moving their hand. That's the state-of-the-art brain-computer interface in this technology, in this field, and we can do just as well. More excitingly than that, we have proof of concept data that we're preparing for publication now in the setting of anesthesia. Anesthesia, as I mentioned, offers a market opportunity for us. But more than that, for us in this early stage, it provides us with a fantastic setting for validating our tool. We can collect data in people like you and me who are going in for routine anesthetic procedures. We can get a baseline before you go into a procedure, and then get your brain's activity after you've had anesthesia, and we can track it as it recovers. So within individual subjects, we can establish sensitivity and specificity of our tool. That work is in preparation for submission shortly.
Fantastic. And presumably the form factor is such that it can move around the clinic easily.
Absolutely.
And be bedside or in the operating theater if need be. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. In some of the patients who were in the anesthesia studying, they wore the headset through the procedure, but it can also be removed and replaced. That's a key feature, which is why the hardware partnership is very exciting to us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Super, super exciting. Sudhin, thank you so much for presenting that. And if anyone is interested, please make sure that you book a meeting with Sudhin Shah, if possible.